You can quite... I mean, my cousin is a farmer. He carries cows. He's very strong.
Can we turn the volume down on Rob very slightly and just carry on with the show? Continue talking, Rob.
Well, we've not started the show yet, which is why I've allowed this travesty of a conversation.
This diatribe of cow carrying.
Your cousin does not carry full-grown cows.
Not now, but he would carry calves and stuff. He'd throw them over his shoulder.
I could carry a calf.
Yeah.
Or throw over his shoulder.
Or a minor bull, or like a Shire
bull.
That's really cruel.
Or a Shire pony or something.
A Shire
horse. The point I'm trying to make is, to get back to my original point...
Can I just say that I believe that there is some bull in this story?
When my little sister, I used to
was a calf.
I used to carry her to school.
Who?
Right?
Bullshit!
She'd walk some of the way, but...
It's alive! Show this prehistoric bitch how we do things downtown.
Welcome to Empire of Geek, and on this show, Raoul.
Hello.
Hello, Raoul. How are you today?
All right.
You've been fine, fettle, aren't you? You've just been regaling us with a tale of when you used to carry your sister 8 miles to school.
I didn't say 8 miles to school. I said the school was 8 miles away. She had to walk to the school, and I would carry her for part of it.
Yeah, so Raoul told us a bullshit story.
And that's
then we've got Andy.
Hello.
How are you, Andy?
No.
Did you ever carry a family member at an inordinately long distance?
No, I lived in a sort of quite conventional lifestyle, really, where I didn't have to carry family members to venues.
We've also got Lisa, who didn't want to speak, but she's on the show. Well, you are now. You're on it. And we've also got the Return of the King. You're looking a little bit Aragorn at the moment with your beard.
I feel like the Mad King rather than Aragorn.
We've got Florian. Welcome back, Florian.
Hello.
Dr. G. It's good to have you back on the show. A little bit of reason. All these months that Raoul has been allowed to run free with his shenanigans and tales. Anyway, so good to have you all back on the show and good to have the listeners back. I've not posted a show for quite a while because I was going to start filming them. And we filmed one last week, but I am going to put it up eventually. But a lot of it just took for friggin' ever to get all the stuff set up. So I'm changing what I'm doing, listeners. So we've been away because I had ideas, big convoluted ideas above my station. And I'm still going to do them, but I've decided we're going to have a normal podcast this week. And who better to do it with than these chaps and chapess. So the first story we're going to talk about this week is... I've named this Girlfriend Betrayal. And it's the tale of a young man who we can all identify with. His name's Raoul. He was playing the So Geek It Actually Hurts game Ingress today, which we've mentioned on a few shows. It's basically like a capture the flag, but with a portal, and there's several of these all over, and you go and catch them off from the other team. Well, today, Raoul was playing this, and you were so close to destroying an enemy portal, and then your girlfriend said she no longer wanted to, she wouldn't give you the weapons that you needed to do it. My question is, can your relationship continue if she's going to turn on you?
Not if she bloody listens to this podcast. Why did you go and do that?
Because it's true, I wanted to know how you feel.
Well, a bit niffed, but I'll let it pass.
Niffed?
I'll let it pass.
Have you ever played a game, to phrase in a way it doesn't sound a bit dirty?
It's a bit like if you were about to reach the summit of Kilimanjaro and you need a little bit of oxygen.
Is this a sexual reference? I'm not entirely comfortable with that.
And your missus said, no, you can't have any oxygen, you've got to leave it and come
Are
home.
we still talking about it? I'm not sure. I have played Ingress, but there was so little to do where I live that, I had to go into Lincoln, which is... Oops. You can beep that.
No, people know where we live. We live in Lincoln, everybody.
Yes.
Lincolnshire. All you forget when you mention that we live in Lincoln is people go, "You inbred then?" Like, no, that's the Welsh. But yeah, for any listeners that know English, is this game. You can be blue or green are the two sides, and you capture portals that are at certain locations you have to travel to, and you get them. You can link the portals to form, when you form triangles between 3 different portals, it's a zone of control. And you are basically battling against the other team to get the most zone. Raoul was about to take down a large zone of control. He ran out of ammo because he just pisses him away, quite frankly, without any thought to strategy or tactics. And then he was so close to destroying it, ladies and gents, that he turned to his girlfriend and said, I won't put her name in, let's just call her Raoulina. Raulina, can you give me some of your weapons? And she said, no, because I'm stockpiling them. And then you failed, didn't you?
Yes. That's basically it.
And you texted me complaining about it, didn't you?
Yeah, because it was a pain in the ass.
So can your relationship move on from there?
I think so.
It's fair enough, though.
She made an apple crumble, so it's all fine.
Would you be pissed?
Did you look really harshly at the apple to make it crumble?
Yeah, she's very cross with it. She beated it off.
Sorry.
She beated it off. So I just want to start off with that little story, that little tale of woe. And talking about tales of woe, our next one is, do you remember when I spoke about...
I don't know, this was...
Sorry, should I stop the show so you can
He's
chat
looking
about...
at ladies with big boobs on his phone.
That came up on my newsfeed.
What's your news? My news feed stories and news. Not just titty woman does something.
It's a big-breasted woman with a jackhammer.
What? Is this a sexy work base or
This
something?
is people I know. I didn't put that on there. I find it deplorable.
Such a
You have
liar.
to study it intensely, of course.
Straight away, he was like...
For several hours.
It is true. Before you came here, I was talking about this convention that's coming up, which I'll mention later in the show, and I said, oh, and there's some photos from last year where they got all these women painted up as cosplays, but they've been painted to look like... And he went, wait, what's up? Normally he sits on his frigging phone,
Yeah.
but as soon as you mention that, he's like, wait, what's up?
The old Tom...
We should go. We should taste the air. There's a woman nearby, childbearing age. like it is like a snake licking the air for lady smells. So,
I'm at a wash today, so I can't...
oh, we know, it's disgusting.
Well, I was going early to get the pork, and I went for a walk.
To get the pork, is that the term you call it?
Again, if that's a sexual reference, I'm not entirely happy.
220 degrees for half an hour.
Is that the angle you wank at?
You got to...
Right.
This will wake her up. Anyway, so I'm back to the point. Do you remember I mentioned, and I showed us it, Star Trek Axanar, which was this fan-made TV Star Trek show based on the character Garth of Izar, who was mentioned and briefly seen in one of the original series. And they made that. Well, they wanted to make this show that talked about that moment in Trek history. We watched it and it looked really good, if you recall.
Yes.
Well, they've got all the funding to make it now. And CBS, who own the rights, supposedly own the rights, but it's quite muddy who actually does own the rights to Star Trek, have now said, we're suing you. We're suing you based on the violations in your finished thing, which they've not actually made yet. So they're suing them over something they've not yet seen, and that they don't want them making it. The reason they don't want them making it is because it looks so good that people might confuse it with the films they're bringing out, and they're bringing out a new Star Trek TV series next year. Do you not think that's a bit twatty?
It is a bit twatty, but I can also understand why they're protecting their intellectual property, because once you allow movement on that, it's very, very difficult then to actually...
They're not making money from it, though.
It doesn't matter. The problem is if you end up with derivative works which can be seen to compete or whatever with yours, the copyright lawyers will come down on it because...
There's money in it.
Well, not even so much the money, it's just the fact that they have to protect...
Not for the lawyers.
They have to protect their IP.
This is where I've got problems with it.
Down the line...
Yeah, I disagree with that, and I'll let you go first.
Well, philosophically, I've got a problem with that, because if capitalism is the biggest form of censorship in one way, where somebody can buy... It's not their intellectual property. CBS didn't come up with that. You know, it's people who came up with that. The corporation didn't come up with that. And because they hold the rights, shouldn't automatically give them the right to pan everything else that is being made and used. In America, unfortunately, you've got Mickey Mouse laws, and I think I mentioned this in a podcast some years ago. It feels like it, some months ago. But essentially, it's that idea that you can have Mickey Mouse laws because Walt Disney and Mickey Mouse, literally, they extended the copyright or the right to Mickey Mouse for ages and ages and ages. Whereas if you make a medicine, you only have 10 years to actually make the money back on it.
Yeah.
You know, it makes no sense whatsoever.
But with copyright law, copyright is there to protect the authors.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. CBS isn't the author of Star Trek, and it is not the inventor of Star Trek.
But it's protected for a duration of time, but it's not there to necessarily prevent derivative works which is why it runs
But
out.
that's what they're
expires.
doing right now. Right?
Yeah.
They're preventing derivative works coming out.
But it's still
And the
within
development of the whole
It's
thing.
within its time frame, though, isn't it? It's still within.
This is the problem I have with it. I don't think it's good business what CBS are doing, because I think actually allowing fans, not making money from it, allowing fans to do this draws more people to it. It's a little bit like, we've gone about all copyright and all that and internet piracy. Actually, if you look at the figures, I'm not talking about the music industry, I'm talking about the film industry, they said we're going to be screwed over by the internet. In fact, if anything, more people go to the cinema now.
Yeah. Well, the issue with piracy has mostly been one of supply. So, along come things like Amazon Prime, Netflix, Spotify, etc., etc. They deal with the supply. The piracy, as a result,
And
becomes...
Netflix is booming.
Yeah. The piracy, as a result, is
People
less...
ultimately want to pay, I think. There's an instinct that
It's not necessarily...
but it's the mixtape effect. In the 80s, I remember that. Mixtapes were like the devil, and the music industry was going to falter. In fact, somebody made somebody else a mixtape and said, "Here, listen to this," and they went out and bought the record.
Well, what's happened with the likes of Netflix and all these other streaming services is just made the supply easier. You don't mind forking out $5 a month if you haven't got the hassle of going through all the rigmarole of downloading illegally.
If I was CBS, I would go... First of all, the case is going to fail on the fact that they've not made it yet, and the things that they're actually going to get them over, they've not actually said what they are. They've said that you've a number of things where you've taken
well, they can't pursue them until the thing's been made.
Yeah, and they've seen it as well. So and the fact they've written it like that, they may end up failing. They won't know because they've got loads of money behind it. But if I was CBS, what I would do is I would actually go and visit the set, and I would bring it in, and I would say, we support what you're doing. We put our little stamp on it, and so when it comes out, it almost promotes your films in your new series.
Well, the problem is they'll want some kind of editorial control over it if they do step in.
But if it's a side story, even if they get some things wrong, Voyager was not exactly consistent within itself or with the rest of the universe necessarily. So I don't think it would make that much difference.
And I'd take some of the actors from it, and I would add them as little, even as walk-on roles in the new TV series, because the internet would freaking love that. And it makes people like your company
So
then.
you're saying they should use it as a marketing vehicle?
Yes. I would.
That
all
would
I've
make
got to do
sense.
is put
Use it positively.
Yeah, just say, look, we support this. We're not actually going to recognise it as part of the whole canon, but we recognise it's something awesome, and that they could even say it's, watch it, and if they agree that it's fitting in with a bit of obviously a fictional history, and it's based on something that's supposed to have happened, so they're going to stick pretty close to the original Star Trek storyline. Obviously, the issue now is that they've gone off that, but this is set before Kirk's time, so this is all. There's no reason for, I think, CBS to be douches about it, other than the fact that they can be.
Or you don't necessarily know what they've got planned,
Yeah, it's unlikely to be connected to that, though. Some of the most successful episodes in DS9 and The Next Generation were those time travel ones where the Trouble with Tribbles, that one, was one of the most successful DS9 episodes ever. And that's because they love these cross-references, and the fans are going to be more nerdy about keeping to the original stories than a lot of the professional writers, I think.
Well, J.J. Abrams is coming in and ripping up all the old stuff all over the shop, isn't he?
Yeah, but he it's because the time stream has altered. You've still got the original ones in their whatever they call it, like version A or whatever. From that bit of aggro, the next one is: have you seen this thing about Iron Fist? Netflix, obviously, this isn't a sexual reference, but we won't say anything.
I wouldn't even...
Netflix has shown Daredevil, they've had Jessica Jones on it, and they were going to have... the second season of Daredevil comes out reasonably soon, and they're going to have Iron Fist. Now, people thought they were going to can Iron Fist, but they decided they want to bring him in, and that wasn't a joke on cans and iron. But they picked the actor for it, and he's this blonde white guy, and loads of people have gone, how dare they choose Iron Fist and have him as a white guy? Now, in the comic book, he's a blonde-haired white dude. But for some reason, a lot of people have not read the comic and aren't aware of him, seem to have jumped on the bandwagon and assumed that because he does martial arts, that he should be Oriental-looking, when in fact, he learns these skills in a parallel universe.
in itself, isn't it? Just, applying... it's like saying you're Chinese, therefore you're good at maths. you're French, you're a good lover. You know, it's just applying stereotypes. You're German, you invade Poland. You know.
Yes. All right. Well, actually, Hollywood has a long. If you wanted to criticize it on those grounds, Hollywood has a very long tradition of depicting white Caucasian males as entering another culture and then becoming better than the natives at it, and that in itself I find problematic. You know, you get like Tom Cruise film where he plays a samurai.
Oh yeah.
And he becomes better than the actual samurai. And this is not a dig at Tom Cruise, although it could have. But it's just a long history of that sort of thing. It's like white guy is dropped into, Asian culture or whatever and becomes better at the natives or African culture or so.
Yeah, white men can't jump. Well, they can't, can they?
Well, did you not watch the film?
Yeah, but
the whole point of the film is that Woody Harrelson can bloody well jump.
It's sort of reverse racism, isn't it? But
that's a good point actually, because then a lot of people are going, well, in the comic books he's a white dude with blonde hair who learnt the parallel universe, but actually that's a good argument.
I wish I hadn't said reverse racism, because actually that implies that racism can only ever be experienced by black people, and I apologise for that slip of the tongue. But essentially, it's racism is racism. Racism is just stupid. It's going about a certain character.
Quit your bloody Welsh jokes, all of you twats.
You just had a crack at him for being German.
Yeah, because you want to crack at me for being Welsh.
I don't think he did.
No.
That was me.
So it was Black Sheep.
No, I said there is possibly a joke in there. I didn't make the joke. I implied that other people.
Just because he's aware of the of it, then
the well-trodden path.
You didn't pull the trigger. Didn't go there.
That's a good point. Actually, when I thought of the argument, I was thinking of it in regard to, I know what the comic book character's like, so they're being daft. But the fact that the character itself could be faulted because that stereotype of, they said, Whitey goes in and does a good job.
So
that's a better argument.
some Asian dude in there that's better than him.
Yeah, but then
it's still not the main protagonist, though.
No.
You sideline him to a bit role, and then you have Whitey on the screen doing all the cool stuff.
Which is, again, this sort of Karate Kid effect.
You don't make it? Or...
I think use whatever actor you think is
I thought
is
Mr. Miyagi was way cooler than Danielson, though. Like in Karate Kid, Mr. Miyagi made it, I thought.
Yeah, but it's not called Mr. Miyagi, it's called Karate Kid, isn't it?
But everybody remembers Mr. Miyagi.
Yeah, he was a good actor and all that, and it was a good role in it, but he's not the Karate Kid.
But he was.
Although it'd be called Old Man Kick Shit.
But he was passing his knowledge. You know, he was the experienced. He was the awesome guy, passing his knowledge down to this scrawny bean of a kid.
Thank you for making it into a metaphor of how American culture milks any other culture for the essential bits, perverts it, and then passes it on as its own. Because Mr. Miyagi is well American, actually, or Americanized in it.
Well, he's been living there for donkey's years, hasn't he?
Well, exactly, that's my point.
And yet he still puts his most precious bonsai tree near a waterfall.
Yeah.
You can go down to Newark and there's a Japanese dude there who's got a garden.
And he just
There's
plants
a Japanese
trees.
dude in Newark, call the papers.
No, it's open to the public. You can pay a $5 every summer and go and see it. It's amazing. He spent 30 years building it.
Does he train kids to fight Cobra Kai?
No, he's a Buddhist monk, and it's awesome. It's got full of waterfalls and bonsai and plant stuff, and he's like, you speak with him, and he regards himself, even though he was born in Japan, he regards himself as a bit British, a bit Japanese, and he wanted to create this garden to share Japanese culture.
Nice garden.
Does he plant his rare bonsai trees in strange places though?
He's got rare bonsai trees all over the shop.
What, just hidden?
On the edge of cliffs and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it's really cool.
That?
Honestly, if you go there, like that, it's got loads of little stepping stones and pockets and weird pockets of
Oh, so I don't mean big pockets stitched on the side.
You've got to actually go through the bushes and stuff to find these.
Is this a metaphor again?
It's not a metaphor. No, it's brilliant.
If you don't prune a bonsai tree, it just grows to normal size, though, which is the really odd thing about the waterfall. Why would the tree stay small?
Yeah, that is true. That's true that about bonsai. I used to have a friend at school, his mum used to be insane on cutting his hair and cutting his fingernails, and he stayed tiny.
Yeah.
Bonsai ball.
It's basically, his mum said, if your body goes outside these bounds, it'll just come off. With a pair of scissors. Don't do it.
Right, that was our main bitchy things of the week. Now on to the main story. Now, do you not? Obviously, you're not a big comic book fan. You like comic books about cars racing. Would you quite like to look at Bobby Sands the comic?
That's quite a heavy subject for a comic.
Well, not. It seems that heavy a comic for the subject because there's one of the big stories, and it's to do with comic books. Is to do with this comic called Bobby Sands Freedom Fighter, which for the listeners, if you're not familiar with who Bobby Sands was, during the early 1980s, he was working with the IRA. He got put in jail. He became an MP while in jail over there was an election, some guy died, and people put him in for the running for this part, and which is why you can't run for election now while you're in jail because of Bobby Sands. He began hunger striking in 1981 and he died, and so this is a comic of the last year of his life. Now, lots of people are angry about this, as you can imagine. It was funded by the Arts Council and also the National Lottery. They gave him something like $5,000, the guy who made it. It's published by O'Brien Press, and the man who made it, Jerry Hunt, is this 8-year-old cartoonist from Ireland. So the people who are angry are, first of all...
Sorry, 8? Did you say 80?
80.
80, okay. Sorry.
He looks 8 because his mum used to trim his nails back.
Sorry.
He's done it, and loads of people are angry about it. First of all, Bobby Sands' family are angry about it because it's been pushed by the Bobby Sands Trust, and they are not happy with them because Bobby Sands' family did not want the IRA to start working with the British government and to have a ceasefire. They would prefer them to still be fighting now, and they don't like the Bobby Sands Trust because they're joining in with the idea of the peace process and all that. And secondly, you've got people angry who are on the other side of it. The Stormont Culture, Arts and Leisure Committee chairman Nelson McCausland, he is absolutely shocked that public money has been used to create such a biased and one-sided view of the argument, because obviously some people don't see Bobby Sands as a hero. Do you think this is a good use for, first of all, National Lottery, public money arguably, Arts Council money? Do you think it should be spent on something like this?
No.
I don't know. It's difficult to say. It's not a great deal of money. First off, that's the first thing to say about it. And I think they're missing the point slightly. Of course, they have vested interests, being the family and so on, and they have their own interpretation of things. But it's essentially an artist expressing himself.
Yeah,
So you might
funded.
Yeah, why should we, our taxpayers, fund
It's
somebody's...
not tax money. It's lottery money.
Lottery money and the arts...
I don't buy lottery tickets, so I haven't funded it.
The Arts Council...
The Arts Council funds a lot of things, and you probably say...
A lot of it comes out of taxation.
This is Ireland, though,
yeah, but
so it might not be our
it's
money.
culture.
Right, okay.
So are you saying culture shouldn't be funded ever?
I'd say it's very, very difficult
And the only thing that you come up
public
with...
money. It's very
If
difficult
you say
to
that
use
culture
public
should
money.
never be funded, Rob, you have the fundamental problem that all culture will then be based on what sells. So you will not have groundbreaking art.
No, I don't necessarily hold true with that, because you do get lots of
Philanthropic.
philanthropic,
That's even worse.
donations
That's like
and-
saying only rich people should ever have an impact on the culture
Well,
of this
not
country.
strictly true. You have Kickstarter where people put
That's a recent
everyone
development.
puts money in and so forth to get stuff going. It's quite difficult to, I think, use public money for stuff which has a certain bias, or you're not going to please
Everything
every
has a
single
bias,
person.
Rob. There's no such thing as an unbiased thing.
Exactly.
Yeah, but that means you wouldn't finance anything ever. Because everything is biased. You said that nothing with a bias should be
I wouldn't fund all public, public-y stuff. Out of
Clearly,
public
the
money.
Arts Council, they're not stupid. They have seen some value in this.
Could you not make the argument then, though, that say...
It's art, after all.
Well, the BBC is going to have to, at some point, it's going to have to either take advertising or find some other method of financing itself.
Why should the NHS help people who eat too much and then need treatment for diabetes.
I would argue that. Yeah,
I would not actually argue that. It'd be a terrible thing.
Yes, it would be Rob.
I think when it comes to when it comes to actual life, yes, you can argue there's a duty, a responsibility to there, but at the same time there is an element of personal responsibility. If people smoke like an absolute chimney and kill themselves when there's loads of documentation, loads of advertising, it doesn't say you don't treat them. You do treat them, but there has to be an element of, in order for any of these...
A racing driver is very badly injured and he gets flown from the F1 at Silverstone to the hospital, and for hours they battle for his life. Should they bother doing that with taxpayers' money? He chose to do motor racing.
I would say in the case of people's lives, yes, it's a life and death situation.
He didn't have to go in that car though and race fast.
Well, he didn't, but one would assume that because he's got quite a lot of money, he would be...
So he has to pay it back.
He would pay it back, yeah.
Okay, let's going back to art. As this is art, isn't the role of art to cause conversation and stimulate some sort of controversy? And so, even if people say that's not art, that's stupid. My 3-year-old could do that.
Not necessarily controversy, but
art isn't just pleasant.
Some kind of conversation.
Art isn't just supposed to be nice to look at.
Well, I didn't say that it should be.
I think the value for money of this is outstanding because they've got you talking on a podcast
about it,
and from that point of view, it's the value for money is outstanding, and it's maybe it's one-sided. I don't know. Maybe it's one-sided and maybe it's controversial. But the whole point is, things like Mouse would have never got made if that was your criterion. Mouse is a
Spiegelman. Yeah.
Well, that wasn't made public money, was it?
No, of course it wasn't. But people were against it. People didn't want it to be made.
Oh, I didn't say that was my criteria. I never said anything about if it offends people. I don't give a crap if it offends people. If it be offended, that's my general opinion when it comes to stuff like that. The issue I think is that if you are funding using public money to fund this, and it is so divisive, that's the word, then logically you would have to fund somebody to argue the other side of the coin.
No, not necessarily. It's art, after all. So maybe there aren't two sides. Maybe the artist, I've not read it so I can't say, but maybe the artist never intended to just represent a political side. And I'm virtually certain actually that would not be the aim of this publication. And after all, the book costs money, so it's not freely available either. So that's actually something that I might have issue with. If it's publicly funded by the Arts Council, then should it not be freely available as a piece of art?
As far as this short story goes on it, I quite like the idea that you get people's opinions and their versions on stuff which I might completely not agree with. I was reading about Bobby Sands in preparation for this. I won't go into it too much.
I've just been reading now. I wanted to know why he was.
He went to jail for something he did. Then he came out again, and there was a shootout. Was it a funeral? And they got caught with some handguns.
It was a shoot. Yeah,
two people got injured, didn't they?
2 RUC officers were shot. So
yeah, and he went to jail for that. And the thing is, obviously, we're English, so we're probably going to argue from the side of they shouldn't have been doing that. But when you look at how he was treated when he first got to jail, he was treated very harshly. He was naked for the first however many days, and they put him into a room with no bedding or anything, just in a room with no clothes on, and that was, I think, probably too brutal for a treatment of what he was getting. Even though I don't agree with what they were going for, but as far as this goes, the fact that I think it is biased. It's going to be biased in the favour of showing him as a hero. But I quite like the fact, because if everything had to be completely homogenised to take all views in, it makes stuff a bit shit, wouldn't it?
Oh, the BBC, you mentioned the BBC, right? When they do something about homeopathy, which I know is bullshit, right? And people who say homeopathy is great and there should be more research done on it, they just ignore all the other research that has already been done on it. And
so it's bullshit.
It's bullshit. But when the BBC does a piece about it, because there's some other bit of research, they have to give. They basically give equal airtime to like the million scientists who say it's bullshit because they know the stats behind it, and the one person who says it's not bullshit because they sell the leather girdles which you have to buy from a particular company in order to shake the vials that they also sell in order to have it properly classed as being homeopathic. So that's part of the problem that I have with that homogenizing of opinions, absolutely. And as I say, I mean, it's a piece of art. It's supposed to be a piece of art, so it's supposed to be controversial. And when you look at the Angel of the North, which is now uniformly regarded as one of the most genius things of recent times, people go to it.
Plenty of people
go to it and they take photographs with it.
Well, yeah, but people will take photos of anything if they're told.
If you ask people in the North, Rob, you will find that they are almost universally
that thing outside the Olympics, that helter-skelter red
bloody public money.
That helter-skelter red thing.
Yeah,
that looks,
I know what you're on about.
Do you know what I mean? It just looks like someone shat a bit of metal out.
Orbit or whatever.
Whatever it's called.
You look so good with a Donald Trump style haircut.
People go and photograph that, and it's universally revered as awful.
Yeah, but
And
they photograph themselves in front of the Angel of the North. So that's a slight bit different.
The Angel of the North is seen
if you see a
the
particularly
gateway to the
disgusting-
North, isn't it? When you go through, it's I know I'm in the North. The
It's
Angel of the North.
symbolic, isn't it? Yeah,
If you and it's iconic. I would even go to so far as to say
Anthony
it's
Gormley
iconic.
created, didn't he?
Absolutely.
yeah.
Right now, I'm saying it's. I think the only real valid argument is your one about should they be charging for it. Find out where that money goes. If that money then goes to support one of the sides in the argument, I'm not all that happy with that. If it goes back to more arts projects, give the artist a cut of it to make for his time. But if it all goes to him, I don't mind that. Now the other thing would be, you're saying it's a biased argument. The good thing is, particularly with now with the internet, is you can buy this on Amazon. So if you go to Amazon and look up Bobby Sands Freedom Fighter, you can find this to buy. And I'll give you the price if anyone wants to
Some
buy
people
it.
think Che Guevara was a freedom fighter as well.
It's £9.09 you can buy it for. But let me show you, this is the beauty of this, because obviously not everyone agrees with this point of view. There's one review on it, and let me go down. And this review is headed Slimmer of the Year, and it says Bobby Sands, Freedom Fighter. Freedom from what? A bacon sandwich. So people get their right to actually comment on stuff. Admittedly, that's a very kind of harsh joke, considering the fact that the man starved to death. But people, if you're not happy with it, you can go and look at you laughing with it. You're such a monster. You can go and have your say on it.
You mentioned Che Guevara. Of course, Nelson Mandela was described as a terrorist for the most part in the British press.
Well, he was to start off with. Not so much him as more Winnie. They
You
used
don't
to
change.
She used to put tyres around people's necks.
No. That was after. That was.
And he did. I don't think Nelson was all that happy about doing that. Since he divorced her as well before that.
Somebody's freedom fighter, somebody else's terrorist.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. Always.
Right, we'll move on from that, but then if you want to go and look at that, Bobby Sands Freedom Fighter, and there's some other comic books which the artist has done, Jerry Hunt, and they're all similar around kind of politics and Ireland. Now, moving from quite a serious story onto something that's absolutely awesome, this year, from the 8th of September till the 29th of January next year, you can go and see a stadium tour of Marvel heroes.
Wow.
Now, it's going to be going to a lot of the big UK kind of stadiums. It's going to be in Nottingham, London, and some others. And it looks absolutely brilliant. If you want to find out more about this, if you go to www.marveluniverselive.com, you can find it. I'm going to show you chaps the web page for it.
Ooh.
But it looks, you've got Thor in there, you've got Wolverine. It's basically, the story is loosely based around, the cube from the first Avengers film. Loki has stolen it, and it's all these different Marvel heroes trying to get it back. So you've got actors dressed up as it, and there's them all together. There's loads of them. You've got Thor, Iron Man, Captain America, Hawkeye, Captain Marvel. You've got what's his face, old eye patch, Nick Fury. You've got Maria Hill, and you've also got man in glasses and shirt. So I think that's maybe Bruce Banner, isn't it? But you've got Spider-Man and you've got the X-Men. Does that not look exciting?
It does.
Would you not want to go and see that?
It looks amazing.
Yes.
I'm really definitely go and see it. For you, Raoul, check out the sexy ladies. You've got Black Widow there. You're liking that, aren't you?
I am.
Andy, Spider-Man, bit of spandex on a man. You're check it
Let's just
out.
get that cushion and put it over my lap.
I bet you'd be web slinging looking at that, wouldn't you? So, a couple of years ago, they did a Batman Live, which me and my fair lady over there went to.
Oh, you know Simon, our mate Simon.
He made the car.
Made the car for it, yeah.
It was really good, it was.
Mm.
And we went to Liverpool and watched that, and it was really good. So we've just, considering that it's Rob who's nearly got diabetes, we've got you sneaking off for wheeze.
Yeah, sorry.
This is Marvel Live, stadium tour where you can go and watch Marvel heroes battling it out with villains like Loki and stuff like that, and obviously goons that'll be fighting. Does that excite you, Florian? I don't know if it excites you as much as it does me.
I'm trying not to get excited about things like that because I can't go without the baby. So I'm trying to conserve my. Yeah, it would be quite good though.
The Batman one was really good, wasn't it, Lise? Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, it was good.
It was. I wonder if it's the same company doing it. But if you go on their website, which is marveluniverselive.com, there's a preview video there. Should we play a little bit and have a look at it? Did you see that? That was Captain America on a stunt bike. Is that not the coolest thing ever?
At least it's not on ice.
When's it happening?
It's happening from September this year, so the 8th of September to the 29th of January 2017. It's coming to Nottingham, so we're going to see it there if you want to. Looks exciting, doesn't it? Yes. Right, the next thing I wanted to talk about was I was looking in the Telegraph and they printed a list of, if you're interested in sci-fi, places you could go which have nothing to do with Star Wars. So I wanted to look through this list and explain them and see, would you go to these? Because you're a sci-fi fan, aren't you?
Yes. Yeah, got you.
Raoul, are you a sci-fi fan? Are you checking your pulse at the moment?
I am, yes.
What is your pulse?
At the moment,
Yes.
it is 86.
Jesus Christ.
Christ, you're running a marathon from us.
Maybe he got a bit more excited than we did at the sight of the,
All those sexy
Superheroes.
men.
yeah.
What did you think of
Hugh Jackman.
Thor's hammerhead? Did you like it? So I'll talk you through. So would you go to these? The first one is Britain's Roswell. This is at a place called Rendlesham Forest in Suffolk. It's the UK's most famous UFO site. You can go along there and have guided tours through the forest because some lights were seen there in 1980. Does that not sound like a great day out for the family?
Can I solve that mystery? Did the locals had electricity installed in around 1979?
Apparently, it was at the same time a boy walked past holding a young girl, saying, "I'm taking her to school, dude," and I've got lost. And then they fitted lights in. Yeah. So yeah,
Wow.
if I'm not being funny, but and I don't know enough about this place, but if they only saw lights there once, it's hardly our Roswell, is it?
I don't think they understand science fiction and they understand sort of the UFO scene.
They're just
It's not
cashing in for
It's not like Lords,
Really?
you know,
What do you think?
Google,
where
Google links.
or holy sites where one miracle is enough to make
Yeah.
it an area of interest.
Would you want to go? Would you want to go there
No.
to Rendlesham Forest? So that's
Well,
a no.
maybe because it's beautiful in itself, you know.
Yeah, but maybe not go along for the special guided tour. That's where we saw
No.
the light. So the next one is the National Space Centre. Have you been there?
That's not science fiction. I've actually been there.
It's true.
It does actually exist.
They sometimes have some events there which to do science fiction. They had a Doctor Who monsters thing there.
Yeah.
I've been there a couple of times. Me and the girlfriend have. I like it there. It's good, isn't it?
A lot of aeronautics people and so on say that they got into it because of Star Trek and things like that. So yeah,
So we'd all go to the National Space Centre.
it's actually the Axonar thing, isn't it? It's like, I mean, it's purely fiction, but it does get people interested. So
Well, I think
it's a good thing.
that's what I like about Star Trek, and I think we need a Star Trek now because a lot of kids like shit heroes, like reality TV stars, whereas a Kirk.
Yeah,
That's where I got a lot of my morals from. Or Will Riker. I like Picard. I'd like to think I'm Picard, but I think more likely I'd be Will Riker and I'd just blow the shit out of something the first time I get a chance of controlling something. Because he does, doesn't he?
Jonathan Frakes, he's going to be in something else, isn't he? I've just announced he's going to be Star-Lord's Guardian of the Galaxy. He's going to be Star-Lord's dad.
Bit of
Random connection.
a spoiler there. I love Jonathan Frakes. He's so cool. Right, the next one is Alien Portal Destruction. which sounds amazing, but let me read it through. Probably not as amazing. This is another site of the unexplained. Warminster is home to a number of unofficial observatories. So it's some bloke in his bedroom with a little telescope, perving on women. And it's long been a meeting place for UFO spotters. A new trail around the region known as the Warminster Alien Portal Destruction commemorates the 1965 sighting of the Warminster Thing, which was a mysterious UFO seen in the skies above the area. So
Again,
some lights were seen.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a bit tenuous, isn't it?
It is slightly. I thought, because I can see your screen, I thought it didn't say alien. I thought it said Alan.
It was.
Alan Portal Destruction. Okay.
It's just some guy called Alan going on. You messing around with
Colin, you can just picture that. UFO spotters, like Colin and Alan with their little notepads going, ooh, what was the number on that?
The next one is the Centre for Life. This is a fascinating exhibition set up in 25 years of the Hubble telescope. I'll start that again.
Sorry, I've got a bad cough at the moment.
I've noticed.
I know, I can't stop myself.
So this is the Centre for Life. It's a fascinating. This is the Centre for Life. It's a fascinating exhibition set up in 25 years of the Hubble telescope. It's the central attraction of Newcastle Centre for Life this year, and there's also a planetarium, space motion simulator, and special kids zone, the Young Explorers Zone. Would you go to that? Does that excite you?
Yes, why not? Yeah, sure.
What about this next one? This is quite an interesting one. The International Dark Sky Park. They took a large area of the Northumberland National Park and the adjoining Kielder Waterford Forest Park, and they've turned it into this dark sky park, which is basically there's no lights anywhere, so you can go there and you can stare at the stars and see
That's cool.
all the nebulas and stuff.
Yeah.
I'd go and see that. That'd be quite nice, wouldn't it?
I think they have that in the Mendip Hills near Bristol. It's quite dark there as well.
Yeah.
I used to go up the woods with my mate when I was he was
Is this connected to looking at the stars? Or
yeah, he's an astronomer. And
Did he tell you who he was?
no, he runs a
Well,
website.
have a look at my
He
telescope.
runs a website.
Yeah, no, I can't, I've got a
actually,
telescope.
actually, it's called.
Close your eyes and feel the length of that telescope.
What's it called? It's got quite a good sky. Can I borrow your laptop? I'll Google it. We can give the domain because he takes lots of photographs of the sky, the night sky, long
Peeping
exposures and
bubbles.
stuff. Astrosite.co.uk. If you bring it up now, right? Astrosite.co.uk, and he has taken loads of photographs of the night sky.
Any of Uranus?
Hey!
Astrosite.co.uk. So all one word.
There we go.
Well, it actually
Are you on
exists. I sort of.
Yeah, and he's taken loads of photos. Loads of photos of, and those are all his photos of space.
Here we go. My first tentative steps into video astronomy, and he was one of your mates as a boy.
Yeah, I was his best man actually at his wedding.
What's his name?
So let me see.
Adam, apparently.
Hmm.
I'm not giving anything away. It does say Adam's Astrosite on that.
It says it says for a long time now I've been wanting to start a website to share my love of astronomy. I first got hooked on it when as a boy I travelled into the forest with another boy who sexually assaulted me. What made it even worse is he was carrying a young girl, apparently on her way to school. I have never seen him again. He disappeared over a hill, running hard. All that was left was one of his pasty shoes.
Have a look at some of the photos.
Let's have a look.
Did you run in a forest in Suffolk with flashlights? Is it the unexplained lights? Is
No,
that you?
we'd go into the forest, like the Forest of Dean and and Wentwood and places like that.
They're nice, yeah. They're not. Obviously, I'll put a link on for it because I don't want to have a podcast with us just going, oh, that's nice. Yeah. But yeah, oh, that's good. So yeah, I'll remember that, and I'll put a little link on a little tag that goes with this podcast that people are listening to. Right, this spaceport. Did you know that there's a spaceport in the Wirral near Liverpool?
No.
Neither did I.
There's the spaceport.
Yes, it's called Wallasey's Spaceport in the Wirral. I don't actually think it's a real spaceport because when I hear spaceport, I think it should have spaceships taking off and landed.
Docks. Yeah.
It's not like docking, as in. Is that where you force your todger into another man's todger, or is that where someone takes a dump into? Is that what you're talking about?
No.
Oh, sorry, it's the action you did where you brought your hands together.
Yeah, like a ship docking into a port.
Well, a spaceport would be where lots of spaceships would land. Like a port for spaceships.
There's only
Is that what
one
you're
like spaceport. This is not the Virgin Galactic one.
Yeah, but apparently this is an interactive zone. You can go there and you can see what it's like to be blasted above the Earth's atmosphere. I'm sure there's not an actual spaceport in Liverpool.
No, it's not.
Well, it's like a simulation of what it's like to be.
Yeah, of course.
I would
It would be
assume
an incredibly well kept secret if it was.
So there's some of them. There's a few others. There's the London Science Museum, which has got a
No-brainer.
historic collection of stuff. So there's some of the ones which I thought we could talk about. To be honest, there's not many of them which interest me.
No, the shit ones are much more interesting.
The shit
So
ones.
is there another shit one?
Well,
Like
the next ones are not shit ones. The next ones are ones where if you're into
no.
Star Wars, you can go and see like Legoland.
Okay.
oh, right.
It's got a big brick recreations of 7 of the most famous scenes in Star Wars.
Fair enough.
I've been to Legoland. It was good.
Alright, cool.
So right, the next thing we'll talk about is it's called Empire at the Cons. I got messaged by a guy who is setting up a new con in Barnsley. It's called Tykes Geek Fest, and he's invited us to go along there. And so I've decided I'm going to go along and take my comic book with me, and also go along and record stuff for our eventual YouTube channel, which will have real images of things moving on them. So I just wanted to give it a little bit of what's the word? A little bit of hyping for it. It's going to be Saturday, July the 16th at Elscar Heritage Centre in Barnsley, and I'll be there. And if any of you want to come along, you know, feel free. If there's going to be ladies painted with body paint, you'll be there, won't you, Raoul?
Yeah.
Yeah, you will. Don't make as if, I'll pretend that I get massively turned on by it. If you want to get tickets, £7.50 for an early bird ticket, £5 for a standard entry, and £3 for children. It looks like it's going to be cool. So, and I'm going to be there. Do you want to go along, Florian?
I wouldn't mind, but I don't know whether I'm actually going to be in the country. If the toys get their way, I might be out of my way out. You know? No, I don't know whether when we're going on holiday. So
I'll let you know if you want to come along. It'd be nice to have some people there. You might meet one of our fans.
I'm a fan.
Who knows? Who knows? Our only fan. Right, the next thing which leads us on to is our comic book of the week. We've actually reviewed this once already, but the recording was so shit that I decided to do it again. It's called My Family and Other Pokemon by Matthew Lofhagen. I met him at Nottingham Comic Con. Really nice guy. He's got a Tumbling go-to called kotorcomic.tumblr.com. We've got one of his books here. We've all been looking at it. What did you make of it, Florian?
I think it's great. I think it's great because I grew up in the 80s with computer games. My parents weren't prejudiced, you know, fairly middle class, but not prejudiced about, computer games are going to, you know, kill your brain cells and all that sort of thing. And in fact, some of my most sociable memories I have as a kid playing games with other kids. So I never played computer games really on my own, which is the other thing. And even if you do, it gives you something to talk about with your friends, like any other thing. I also read books and did other things, but computer gaming was definitely part of my growing up time. And I think it's just nice that somebody sort of almost like it's like a confessional, isn't it? It's a very good read, because they are basically saying that that
It sounds like we've got a maid who's come in and have started fecking Hoover in.
Housekeeping.
Sorry, Florian.
No, that's fine. Yeah, basically, it's good that somebody else is sort of owning up to the fact that they play computer games. I mean, I'm still of a generation. I guess I will never change my generation. What I'm saying, but I'm of that generation where, you know, we were told that you will never make any money playing computer games. Or do anything to do with computer games, and you know, I think it's a really bad message to have given us. And as we were growing up, and I think it's sort of almost like a historical document for me now, because this comic, because it's sort of it's almost like, you know,
shared
what it could have,
experience.
shared experience, and what it could have been like if more people had been out there and more open about gaming and not treated as some sort of closet hobby.
It's going to be ashamed of. I like it as well. I'll just say before I let you have your bit. So what it is
You'll
it's,
say clever things about how it's drawn, though, won't you, as well? So I just read the thing.
Well, I just wanted to explain a little bit about it to the listeners. So if you want to go and check it out, you can. So what it basically is each page is a separate little entity, but they all fit together with a common theme. And it's him growing up liking computer games, and it tells you about his experiences with different family members through video games. And sometimes it jumps ahead to what he's doing with his wife and all that, and his kids, and then it goes back to when he was a kid, him and his brother playing around and all that. And it is nice. It's nicely drawn. There's very much kind of a manga-y influence to it, but the little spot illustrations are very nice. The colours he uses are good. It almost looks like it's been hand-coloured, although I don't think it has been. I think that's something you actually mentioned when we reviewed it the first time. They're just nice little stories, and it's drawn really well. And he is genuinely, I met him with I think it must have been his wife with him, and he was a really nice guy as well. And if I like someone, before I've even read it, I'm more likely to like the stuff. Raoul, what did you make of it?
I thought it was nice.
It's good. It's also, do you like the front cover of it? It's got this kind of Sega style.
Yeah, it's just very nice.
Raoul, you do, your job is to do something with computers, right? Did you grow up gaming?
I did, but I mean, my experience wasn't one of oppression. I mean, the worst I would get would be if you don't do your chores, I'll cut the plug off your computer.
Yeah, but that's the same for any.
Then I just put another plug on it and carry on. It's just
another triumph against adversity.
Yeah, but it's just like I wouldn't say that it was. You had the odd person that might have said, "Oh, it'll rot your brain," but it was clear it didn't, because you could create stuff, make stuff.
Yeah, you can tell the difference. In the 80s, it wasn't just your parents or it wasn't just friends of the family who would say that. It was everybody. It was like video nasties.
Yeah, I know, but like I got my first computer. I was programming on a Spectrum in 1984, 85. Around that time. Got an Amiga not long after that. So
you've been 4 years old.
Sorry?
You've been 4 years old.
Yeah, I was 4 years old, yeah. So
I think I was going to say, you were probably blissfully unaware of what was going on outside in the wild.
I don't think it was this big oppression, though. It was this big kind of, ooh, we've got to ban this
well,
even
so that was exactly what happened in the wider press, Rob.
But there was this thing, there was bad
recently.
influence, the TV show, but in common sense and normal circles, like, most people... My parents weren't trying to ban it. My friends' parents weren't trying to ban it.
My parents bought me this stuff. So
exactly, and the vast majority
in the wider society.
So you had like the press and all kicking off, but I mean they were selling like, for example, the Amiga Plus plaques was selling something like 200,000 units a day.
Yeah,
they
absolutely.
were absolutely flying off the shelf. So the press might well have been kicking off, but I don't think anybody was. I think if there was this great big oppression, there wouldn't be the industry that we have today. If anything, there's probably a bigger problem now, because there's been a whole generational gap where IT in schools was how to use Microsoft Word. Whereas, and I suppose even from my generation, that was there to a certain degree, but we just got on with it and taught ourselves, because we still had accessible home computers that would allow us just to build stuff.
Well, I do agree with that. I mean, when I had IT lessons in my school, we actually got taught programming.
Yeah, exactly.
Proper programming.
We used to play Granny's Garden. Oh yes, what a good game that
then
was.
it became effectively an extension of Microsoft's admin, whatever it is. So, and now there's a big problem, because they are trying to introduce programming in schools, but unfortunately the teachers don't have the skills to teach the subject.
Anyway, Matthew's comic book. What we'll say is that I think there still is a negative tag attached to liking or playing games, even to this day. And I'll tell you why. I was one of the places I work at. I went in on the first day, and some woman said to me, "Oh, you look like a gamer." And I said, "Why?" I said, "Have I got a controller in my hand?" She went, "No, you just look a little bit kind of scruffy." I was like, "What?" So because I can't be arsed to brush my hair, you've made the assumption I'm a gamer, and obviously you've attached some other negative things to that.
Well, most software engineers, I mean, half the guys I work with have got like beards all over their neck.
Yeah, but you are in the industry. That's a bit different. That's like going to the pub and talking to your UKIP friends, about whether we should leave the EU. It's not, there's no competition for your opinion.
I've never voted UKIP in my life.
I'm just saying
anyway,
I'm a dyed-in-the-wool liberal, which is
he always says
I'm
this.
on the fence over
okay, but the whole point is,
with a big
if when I say I like playing computer games, and one of my big regrets is that with the profession I've chosen for the last 10 years, I really didn't have the time to play anymore, and it's a great big passion of mine. people look at me as if I'm retarded.
Well, so I don't play many games because I just can't be arsed. But like the few games I do play, it's normally when we do it old school, like a LAN party. We get all my pals round, we plug all our machines together, we do it all face to face. I mean, we could do it over the internet.
Do you ever form up into one giant fighting machine?
What, like
Power Rangers?
Power Rangers. Well, for some games, yeah. So but that's only, and that's probably like once a month. We all get together, and that's it. But other than that, then I've got other mates who will go home, and all they do, they go home, finish work at 5 o'clock, whatever, get in, and they play games through till 3 a.m.
But do
go
they
to bed.
play? You see, one of the big arguments was that they play this on their own, and what the comic book makes beautifully clear is that it's actually quite a sociable activity.
I don't think anybody ever really did play on
when
their
he's
own.
at university for a brief period, and
Yeah, but
he plays by
I
himself.
don't think it was ever the case that people
But now
might
you've
really
got-
play on their own,
Now you've got TeamSpeak, and you're basically on.
abusing each
Microphone.
other. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So it's. I mean, and you say one great big LAN party. So I think that the stereotype of the gamer alone in their basement, scruffy or smelly or unable to talk to girls, that's a stereotype that we've carried over from those days.
Yeah, like that computer programmers, you wouldn't find them not bathing for days and stink. Oh, hang on.
Hang on.
Yeah, I've had a wash today because I needed to get the pork.
I went to get a pork.
I didn't have time because I had to.
That's what I'm going to call this one.
I was doing pulled pork, so I had
I've not had a wash because I had to get the
I don't want
pork.
to hear about you pulling your
Yeah,
pork.
I had to get out of
Really
the
don't.
house and get to the shop to get the pork before the pork sold out. Get back, whack it.
Because
in
it's
the oven.
always the Sunday pork rush.
There's such a
Yeah.
massive
It
national
was a
pork
rush.
shop.
I had to give it, 4 or 5 hours in the oven, and in
Well,
that time, that's why I decided to go out for a
You've
walk
got
to get my
quite a lot of
steps.
quite
It
a
got
lot
to
of
the-
stamina.
Yeah, well, it just got to
Climbing.
the point where I just thought,
When your
I can't be
partner
I'll wash later tonight.
when your partner finds you with your penis in the oven, and you say, "I have to just whack
The
it in
world's
the oven
tiniest
for 4
oven.
4 or 5 hours."
Did she not tell you to wash this morning?
Why?
Well,
Andy, to be fair, do your ladies in your life ever tell you to wash?
What ladies?
And by ladies,
You
I
mean
mean
his
your
mum?
mum.
He's being a bloody dick tonight, isn't he?
I love it.
yeah, that's a straightforward question.
Sorry, I do apologize.
Anyway, so
Bloody lefties, all nasty.
back to the point. Can we leave political affiliations out of it? So this is called My Family and Other Pokemon. We've gone completely off task there.
Oh, God.
What you said, Raoul, the fact it's just lovely, isn't it? It's just nice.
It is. It's a
very nice
very
book.
sweet, very beautiful.
And
book.
it's very competently drawn, and I couldn't find any typos, which is a good thing.
Yeah, which is always
Sorry.
one of the main things.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just really nice. It's good. If you've ever played games or grown up with computer games, anything like that,
Or you feel a
Even
bit
if you
depressed
didn't.
about, yeah, exactly. If you feel a bit sad, maybe your friends are all like party people, and there's actually a page that deals with that really in the book.
so go get this book. Go
Definitely.
track down Matthew. He's a nice
Oh,
chap.
don't track him down.
Well, don't go in his house. Yeah, don't track him down. Actually, yeah, I said that before. Yeah, don't stalk them. Kill them, and his comments become more expensive. You can follow him on Twitter at KOTOR Comics, and as I said before, kotorcomics.tumblr.com, and you can see lots of stuff on there that he's done. All of the same. He does another comic book about space pirates, which I've gone and lost. There's a little bit of paper that had a link to it in, but I've gone and feckin' forgot it. But if you look up his name, Matthew Lofhagen, you'll find it. Really nice comic, well worth seeing. Right, so that's our comic of the week. I just want to briefly speak about now our upcoming comic festival, and it's the 18th of April. It's going to be Edgbaston Cricket Ground for the Birmingham Comic Festival. I've been to it before. Me and Lisa went.
Just push it.
Sorry, listeners, I'll stop while you're. What's the matter? Have you hurt yourself?
You're right.
It's all right. Carry on.
What are you doing?
Raoul is adjusting himself.
What are you doing? Are you ill? If you're going to collapse, let us know. So
Something in the crotch region.
Raoul has stood up. For those of you listening, he is now bent over. He's got cramp in something. Why are you bent over with your arse towards us?
What's up?
Where's your cramp? Is it in your nut? Is it knob cramp? Where's your cramp?
This is gooch.
Is it? What are you doing? So he's bent
Piss
over.
off!
His legs are kimbo with one hand on his thigh, the other one holding him up. Where is it? His trousers are
Is it
barely
leg?
covering his arse.
Where is it?
Tell us where the pain is. Are you going to fart into that fire? There's some new flowers behind you. It looks like a man trying to shit into the fire. He's got his hands on his knees, ladies and gents. Bent double. Are you okay? Are you okay now?
Yeah, man, I'm fine. Carry on.
So how's the walking going for you?
I think I might have overdone it.
Yeah.
You might need some magnesium. Eat some bananas.
So yeah, that is the Birmingham Comic Festival. There's loads of stuff going on there. There's loads of cosplayers. They have lots of great comic books there, from independent people to some of the bigger names. It's one of the best comic book conventions I've ever been to. So go along. They're also going to have the Tumblr from the Christopher Nolan's Batman films, as well as lots of other stuff. It's at www.thecomicfestival.com. So well worth going to, and I will attest to that one. I've been to it before. It's really, really good. So that's our comic of the week, and that rounds off the show quite nicely.
Excellent.
How are you feeling, Raoul? Why are you kind of almost squatting a little bit?
It'll pass.
What the wind?
Oh,
Is it a cramp or is it your chalfons?
Or what?
Your chalfont St Giles piles.
No.
It's something to do with that.
It is, isn't it? You've got an arse injury.
I thought we might get through a whole episode of Empire of Geek without talking about Raoul's
Jiffer, yeah, but no, we
Well, I've
can't.
not mentioned anything, have I?
But is it your...
Yeah, your silence.
non-verbal language.
Look at him waddling over to the kitchen. He's have to get some peas to put on his bumhole.
But the last laugh isn't you for you eat them.
Well, that's true. Yeah, I don't really like peas anyway. So anyway, that's all for this week. So, oh,
No way!
what have you done?
Blown his nuts
Is he
out.
shit in the sink?
Oh, that was his nose, and not his butt.
Oh my god!
That was not
I hope it picked it up on the record.
You've blown your nose, haven't you, Rob?
Yes.
Go with
So should we round the
God.
should we round the show off now? So we'll catch you next time. What's he out there? Is he? Oh, he's just sticking his head round the corner. Is that you farting?
No.
It must be.
I don't want to.
Go and smell it. There's no fart
Where's
in
your
there.
tissue?
In my pocket.
Why are you walking like that?
Because he's got two different coloured socks on. And he's ashamed.
So anyway, goodbye from Raoul.
Goodbye.
Goodbye from Andy.
Goodbye.
Goodbye from Lisa. Goodbye. Goodbye from you, Florian.
And goodbye.
And goodbye from me.
That was ghastly.